Even though I don't know you, I'm not letting nobody sell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. That's right. And it's worth something.
This is Black Watch with Commanding General Yahanna, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he make man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
We don't need a black man in the White House. You need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. Black Watch. Let the show begin.
Yeah. What's going on, Israel? I.S.U.P.K.com is the website. I'm Commanding General Yohanna, man, joined tonight by the heavy hitters themselves. General Mike in the building with me. General Muhammad will be back next week. Okay, you know he'll be back in his zone again next week. We'll get up with him. But I do have Captain Makad Abarayam holding it down with me tonight in the building. Also, Yediah and Ibad holding us down. Okay, Yediah holding down the Mirage zone, and holding down the whole zone, hooking it up with the brothers in the building tonight. So, man, the blood is everywhere on them streets over there. Ukraine is a damn mess. Okay, and I know y'all hearing about it. I've been posting on it on Facebook like crazy, and I know everybody been hearing about it. It is truly the end of the world that we going into now. How long this will last over there, I do not know. But the way he's going in there, this could last for a while. So we got a mixture of a lot of good stuff to go into. Let's get into it. Who wants to take it first? Where we going first, Ibad?
Taiwan warns off Chinese fighter jets amidst rising security fears after Ukraine invasion.
Imagine that. They going on alert because everybody knows that what happens here means that China goes into Taiwan. Everybody knows that. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's seeing it. It's amazing that the world was that. We didn't know the world was this fragile. The world is fragile as hell and very animalistic, man, more than people understood. And the internet, brother, and these cell phones have made the world a smaller place. It's very hard now to hide the things that's going on in the earth. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting spread everywhere. If China goes into Taiwan, man, it's going to be, once again, it's going to be very hard for these nations to not allow this war to spill outside of Ukraine. That's going to be very, very difficult for them to do. Y'all want to jump in?
You got to jump.
Y'all come on and get in.
Yes, sir. Come.
All right. Read it again.
Taiwan warns off Chinese fighter jets amid rising security fears after Ukraine invasion.
Go ahead.
Air Force has scrambled to warn off 9 Chinese military aircraft that entered its air defense zone.
9 of them he had to ward off. 9 jets. Go ahead.
Just hours after Russia invaded Ukraine. With top 5 fearful that the crisis could embolden Beijing to increase pressure on or even attack the island, China, which claims self-governing Taiwan as its own territory, has ramped up a military intimidation campaign against the island in recent years. So
they've been ramping it up in years, and now flew 9 jets over the country. Israel, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
And regularly flies jets into its air defense zone.
So China flexing, in other words.
Yeah.
They say
They say they regularly flying jets into their air zone on a regular basis, which shows you without power from the Most High, you just a victim in this place. You know what I mean? Like Taiwan, with all the wealth coming out of Taiwan to make the West rich,
right.
China just sitting up there like, we gonna run up in there and take it all.
If I may, it's almost similar in the same spirit of what Putin has done to Ukraine, in that Ukraine, like you was breaking down last week, that they are a luxurious city, said it looked like New York. Taiwan is rich also, but it's like they got to show their power now. Like Putin are putting the spirit to these other countries to, to kind of flex also. Like you got to flex your power. They might be flexing like, well, we ain't scared either, to do what we have to do. And that's going to spread. So it's a lock it.
You're right.
China is very good friends with Russia. You understand?
Yeah. They tight as hell. You're right, they tight as hell. So it's gonna get real bad out. It's gonna get real bad. And this is how many days in is the war been? It hadn't even been 7 days yet, have it? It has not even been 7 days. They acting like Putin got a hard time. He going through a lot. But man, it ain't been 7 days. He done took over a third of the country, bombing the hell out of them Ukrainians. You know what I mean? And it really got serious at that train station. You saw today's news. Them Ukrainians is up on that train station like the Taliban is chasing their ass. Like Satan is down. The boogeyman is chasing them on them trains to get the hell up out of the country, which is once again the end of the world. Y'all want to go to the scriptures on it? We can go to the scriptures on it. Mike, you was pulling some good ones earlier.
Most correct.
Whatever y'all want to go to.
Grab them again.
Tell them where we going.
No, it's a lot. I was just saying.
I know one of the basics from Matthew 24.
I don't have my joint with me.
No sweat.
If I don't get grabbed.
Go ahead. And 3.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
That's a good point you brought out there. If I could just add something to you and pass it right back to you. What I was going to say is that this is the part the Christian church started ignoring. This is what they ignored. He said, Christ came and said, they came to Christ and said, man, when is this going to happen? How is this going to go down? And they ignored it. Slocky, gentlemen.
No sweat. You're absolutely right, sir. You know what I mean? Like the disciples, a real disciple of Christ learned from Christ and understood that the end of the world was coming. Right?
Yeah.
But that God, the Most High, prophesied that the end of the world was coming. And by asking this question, they understood that the end of the world was when he came back, to bring the kingdom to Israel. Read it one more time,
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately.
Now, these are students of Christ. That's what disciple means, student. These are his students. They came to him and asked him what?
Saying, Tell us, when shall these things be?
When shall these things be? Once again, when you read the verse ahead, they were showing Christ all the beautiful monuments that the Romans built and all the beautiful architecture. And Christ answered them. He wasn't impressed. He said, and he was a black man. Right. He said, you see all these things you're showing me? He said, there coming a day where one stone won't be left upon another. He said, all this is going away. You know what I'm saying? All this is going to be turned to dust. All this is going to be rubble one day. That's nuclear warfare. Christ telling them nuclear warfare is coming even before the nuclear bomb was created. You understand? He said, one stone won't be left upon another. And then they asked him, well, damn, sir, when will these things be? When is going to be the sign that I come and read it again?
Tell us, when shall these things be?
Well, when is all this going to happen, Lord? Go ahead.
And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
How we know when you're going to come back? Because they told him thy coming. Right. What is going to be the sign of your coming? How are we going to know when you're coming back? Go ahead.
End of the world.
Showing you that they understood that Christ coming back meant the end of the world. Christ ain't coming back in a rainbow coalition,
Right.
so everybody can float on clouds and hold hands. When Christ come, there's a world that's going to end. You understand? And through understanding the scriptures, they understood that that world was the world of our oppressor. The disciples understood that it was Rome at that time being going away, their world, which would make us free. We will be free from under the Romans. And in this time, it's America and the oppressor that we under today, him going away, that world coming down and us still being free. So they understood something that the I.S.U.P.K understands today. And like the general brought out, you Christians don't get it. You got the book, but you ain't reading the book. You understand? You ain't understanding the words to that book. Jesus, your good Jesus, you understand, is talking about the end of the world coming. Something being destroyed when he comes back. Salaki.
If I may say, General, what you're saying is so heavy, especially the Christian church, because of that witchcraft that they have on us. We consume our minds as a people with getting rich in a place that Christ said ain't none of it gonna be here.
God.
So, you know, fighting and murdering each other to gain wealth in this society, and Christ said ain't none of it gonna last.
God.
You know what I mean? And the Christian church is definitely a part of blaming it, because the pastor definitely getting rich. You understand? He's definitely getting rich and using this oppression to get more rich, and our people taking up the same mentality. You know what I mean? Same belief system. I gotta get rich to be blessed and have money, and that's what all our people swept up into when we about to go to the America about to go to Third World War. So the Rolls Royce truck, I mean, where you gonna get your gas from? The gas gonna be gone. You understand what I'm saying? All the racks, the paper money ain't gonna be worth nothing. We holding up to our ear. All of that, man, it's going to be for nothing. Like Christ said, ain't nothing that's going to last. So I think Israel got to, you know, listen to what Christ said, what our king said, and, you know, understand, take this on the spirit that, man, don't get shaken by, you know, trying to get rich. Pay attention to what's going on. Like, we need to fortify ourselves in this truth and with each other and prepare for these last times. Salaki.
If I can, read Micah 2:10 off of what Captain Akkad is saying. It's so heavy. Read.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 10. Arise ye and depart.
Arise ye and depart. Like Captain Akkad is saying, we getting comfortable in this place, we robbing and scheming and hurting each other to trying to come up in America when the Lord telling us to depart from this place, man. Take your spirit and your love and your heart out of this place. Go ahead.
For this is not your rest.
Read that again.
For this is not your rest.
You done killed brothers to come up for a bag, for some money, for a block, for some abandoned house to sell your drugs out of. You done murdered your brothers over this, man, when all of it is going away, man. The Lord is about to take it all away. He's about to burn this whole place, man, to free black people while you scheming and robbing and hurting your family, your own people, trying to get something that you'll never own anyway. It belongs to our oppressor. You understand? It's heavy what you said, Akkad. Go ahead, I
because it is polluted.
It is what?
Polluted.
It ain't worth it, man. It ain't worth trying to do anything to come up. You understand? Can't knock your hustle. Yeah, yes, you can. You know what I'm saying? You was talking about can't knock your hustle. You can knock a nigga hustle. You understand? Your hustle is hurting Israelites, man. It should be knocked because it's for nothing, man. It's all going away anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, go read, Sloppy, if I may finish.
Please, get down.
It shall destroy you.
It shall destroy you. Go ahead.
Even with a sword destruction.
So like Cap said, man, you just going to destroy yourself trying to come up, you know, on some block, some money, you know what I'm saying? If that's your priority in this life, while this man murdering us every day, then you didn't fail.
Right.
You didn't fail, and you're going to die, and nobody going to remember you. Right. You understand? Slocky, sir.
Damn, that's rough. Man, it's so true. You know what I'm saying? And so true. Like this thing gonna spread all over the earth, man, and it's going to be glorious in the eyes of the Lord. I know I love it. I love to see it happening simply because I know it's biblical prophecy. I don't care which side wins. It don't even matter to me. The fact that they in it, I don't see it ending at all. The fact that they in it, you understand, is amazing. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good. I know that it was. Did you want to read Matthew?
Yeah, it's up to you.
We finished reading Matthew. Started at 6. So once again, just to continue, the disciples asking Christ, "How are we going to know when you're coming back, and what's going to be the end of our oppressor's world?" Same thing we cry about today.
That's right.
You know, we want our king to come back, and we want our president of America. We want to know when the Lord going to bring him down. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
Listen, we seeing it every day on the news. Once again, we talking about them wars. We talking about how Russia going into Ukraine. You understand? America was like, you better not do it. You better not do it. Putin said, I don't care what you say. And he went on in there. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't scared of America. You understand? He said, we're not afraid of America. We're not afraid of them. We going in there because we ain't letting you come in here. You know what I'm saying? You right here. You want to build little America right here on our doorstep. We ain't letting that happen. You understand? So they went on in there to try to seize control. You understand? And that's what's being talked about now. Once again, Russia flexing on the other, what was it? Taiwan, I believe.
Oh, you mean China? China flying over Taiwan.
China flying over Taiwan. I think Israel did a jet strike.
Yeah, he gonna pull that story up too.
Everybody showing their power now because the Lord is stirring them all up. Right. You understand? That's why we hearing about wars and rumors of wars. It's being talked about. They talking about how Russia went into Crimea and start stacking all that money. So America trying to cut off that money now, so he don't survive these sanctions. It's a lot going on, and it's a beautiful thing. All that means that we close to Christ coming back. Damn right. We close to the end of the world, our oppressor's world. Go ahead.
Wait, before you go on, if I could, General, I'm coming to give it right back to you. But something you said that gets glossed over a lot, but you mentioned this before. You brought this out before, how nobody knew about the Third World War until they went into the scriptures. Ain't no religion knew or understood the Third World War until they went into the scriptures. That was when you knew that there was a biblical prophecy on what was to happen in this earth. And now you see it happening before your eyes, which tells you what? It should tell you that the only authentic record of the history of the world by the hand of God is the Bible. Right. No other books is to join that book. That's right. You understand? That's why it says in the book, none shall want her mate. It says that because nothing can be compared to that book. Nothing could be tied to it. And what's so amazing too about the Bible, if I could, General, pass it right back to you, is that the Bible has been around so long, yet what's in the Bible is so significant right now at the end. Like it's been significant at other times through history. But boy, having the Bible right now, having the King James Version of the Bible right now is giving you the full insight of what is going on in the earth and to show you how heavy that Christ was. Right. So at the end of this, you're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. Yeah. You're going to hear about these wars. Taiwan flying over, Syria, this, that. And a lot of, and here's the thing, these strategic planners, they plan this stuff out based on what's going on in the earth. Right. So just what's happening here could spill. Because you know what you got right next to Ukraine? You got Chechnya. The Russians been fighting the Chechnyans for years. Mm-hmm. So because the Chechnyans want to break free also. Yeah. Like they want to be like Georgia, Russia, and Poland and all them other countries. They trying to break free. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Russia's like, nah, we still own y'all. But they like, nah, man, we want to break free from y'all. Good. So it could spill right into there. And then we got another problem. You know what I mean? So Salakia. So go ahead, General.
You don't know how much of a child I become when you start doing all that.
I become like a student. Salakia. You know what I mean? Like we studied this so much coming up. You know what I mean? For so many years. Now we actually living it. Y'all hearing about it. Some of y'all out there hearing about it for the first time. We've been hearing about this for years, studying it for years, praying over it, teaching it for years. And now it's coming to pass right before your eyes. It's coming to pass. And if you ever, and you never heard and learned this from anywhere else.
Damn right.
Never, ever, ever. The church got the Bible right there. Why isn't the church teaching that America is going into thermonuclear war? Why isn't that taught in church? They all say we praise in Jesus and the return of Jesus, but they don't tell you the steps that's going to take to the return of Jesus. This scripture that you bringing out, General, is rarely read in the Christian church. They rarely read where Christ said wars and rumors of wars. He said it was going to come. What you mad at I.S.U.P.K for bringing out about wars when Christ brought out about wars? Right. And once again, because that don't fit the sweet image of Jesus. That don't fit your white Jesus image. Right or wrong. Your white Jesus image is he's all loving. He's all kind. Not that he's saying, yo, it's going to be war out here. That's what he was saying. Salaki, General, if you can go back to it, because you on something heavy here.
No sweat. 6th verse.
This is the book of Matthew.
Okay, good.
General, finish up.
Come.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled.
And see, and like the general said, you Christians don't bring it out because you're troubled.
Right.
The Lord said, don't be troubled, man. Don't be troubled. Don't be scared and afraid. It got to happen. Read.
Okay. For all these things must come to pass.
You don't see that? You love Jesus so much. Listen to his words, man. He said these wars got to happen.
Dang.
All these things must come to pass.
Right.
Don't be troubled, man. It got to happen. I ain't freeing you without these wars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
That's what he's saying. But you Christians, you scared of the Bible.
Damn right,
So you
sir.
pervert it. And you lead the Lord's flock astray because they don't have a clue of what's in this Bible, man. You better come in the I.S.U.P.K. Get down with the commanding general. Be a child like me and look up when he's breaking all this down. You know what I'm saying? Read.
But the end is not yet.
And that's it, General. And it still ain't the end. We ain't even all the way at the end, and you're gonna hear and see and witness and live through all of this here.
Brother, Salaki, General. Give it up to General.
That
That is such, like, okay, if I could, I'm coming to you now. But it was such a cut out for you to say, Christ said it got to happen. Like, that's such a cut. If you at home or you in church and you thinking to yourself, the Israelite school UPK is wrong, they acting like they about war, this and that. Y'all have treated us like we was criminals and you know, bloodthirsty cats for years. But what General Mayak brought out just now cuts the hell out of you.
Right.
Because Christ said these things must come to pass. Meaning, if like Christ said, if you say you want to be saved, y'all love to say we saved. Well, then the wars got to happen, right? Isn't that what you break it down? So I don't get it. You supposed to be in the mindset that these wars are going to happen in the earth.
Damn right.
So like
if I could, so I would like to pull one scripture, Revelations 12:16. And because General Mayak was bringing up was so heavy in that Christian church that had our minds for so many years, and it's like Barak, I tell you how I was shot that the Lord just keep doing things to just negate everything that they saying all the time. And once you think it settled down a little bit, boom, something else happened. Then it settled down a little bit. The Christians come and pacify us a little bit. Boom, another brother get murdered by a cop. Then another brother get murdered by a cop. Then now Russia going to war with Ukraine is like the Lord is helping us. You can read that scripture for me.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 16. And the earth helped the woman.
And the earth helped the woman. Who's the woman? Israel. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. How the earth helped the woman? By all the lies being torn down now. You see all the cameras. Now the cameras is like witnesses.
Yeah.
So everything that the Christian church is now, we're seeing in the Christian church, people having sex, all the evil they doing in the pews, they bringing it all out now. You understand? The war, right? You know what I mean? All that garbage. You catching the pastor in the window, buying whores, snorting cocaine. You seeing that the Christian church is evil, like the prophets have been telling you. What else happens? The archaeology started to come out. That Google done tore down the Christian church by itself. You can just go on Google and see the Russian icons, and that they not teaching us that black people is in the Bible. Now Russia going to war. You understand? And watching the whole earth be coming to an uproar. Even civilians saying, man, it's the end of the world. They ain't even the prophets. But they see, they like, man, this ain't right. We just went through a whole epidemic. Now we going to war. Like, this the end, man. I'm just going, like the earth helping the woman, man. And showing black people that, what we learning in church, it just ain't, you know what I'm saying? It ain't leveling up. You know what I mean? Keep reading.
Yeah. And the earth opened her mouth.
Opening her mouth is once again all the things that we need to know, all the proof and facts that we the Israelites, that the Native Americans are our brothers, that the Hispanics and the blacks, we in the same position under our oppressor in this hellhole. You understand? The earth is opening its mouth. It's starting to say the things that we've been saying. Now it's proving that we was right the whole time. Keep reading.
and swallowed up the flood.
What's the flood? The flood is, keep reading.
Which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
What did that? Who's the dragon? Of course, the dragon is the so-called white man, our oppressor. What's the flood? All them lies, all that Christianity, all that oppression, them drugs and all that. Everything that's going on in the earth right now is showing us who he is and what the prophets of the UPK been saying to Commander GEN.YAHANNA been right the whole time. We swallowing up the whole flood. You understand? War's coming. Christ is coming back black, and that's it. You understand? The water, sister.
Damn right. Damn right. And if you could go back to that scripture just for a second, because that scripture, like them scriptures that's gonna come out now in these classes now, is gonna be scriptures we ain't touched in a minute. And the breakdowns, we're gonna go deep on these breakdowns now. You're gonna understand the world you living in, because that was heavy. What you brought out, read that scripture again. I just want to reiterate. You already said it, but I want to just throw a little more gravy on it so that y'all can eat it nice and good. You know what I mean? Read that again.
Make it delicious.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Add a little salt, pepper to it. I will make sure you don't eat it like it's just, some gravy from the Chinese. What's that egg thing they make? Egg foo young. Egg foo young. This ain't no egg foo young you eat. You understand? This here is Downs home South gravy. Yeah. That good gravy. Come off that grease from that fried chicken.
That's right.
That good gravy. Go ahead, Art.
This is the book of Revelation 12 and verse 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood.
That's the killer right there, what you brought out, Art. The earth opened her mouth, meaning the truth came out from the children of the earth, from the children of Israel. The earth opened up all the, like you said, the archaeology and all that, and it did what? It swallowed up the flood. Like this truth coming out. Remember, this book you reading is a 5,000-year-old book. And a lot of young people thought about it like, oh, man, how you going to be listening to a 5,000-year-old book? I guess we listening to it right now, right or wrong. Like we listening to it, like you be a fool not to listen to it, because everything that's happening now is happening in that book. And like it said, it swallowed up the flood. The flood being all these lies, that truth, them records, just swallows it up, just crushes the lies. Like the churches is emptying out. Let me tell y'all a quick story if I could. Y'all heard of Obama's church, right? That big church in Chicago. You may not have heard of it if you wasn't too privy to the election. When Barack Obama was running for president, he was going to a church in Chicago, a black church. The pastor was called Jeremiah Wright. And that church was famous. He was famous. Okay. And Obama was running for office against Hillary at the time. Trying to get the nomination from Hillary. And that church holds 8,000 members. I wish I could get Captain Malquad on the phone, because it holds, and big shout out to Captain Malquad and Officer DeBar Moth, because damn right, because they brought this story out and brought it out to me, man. And it was heavy because yesterday was so-called Sunday. So they called me yesterday because they went up to meet with a brother that does the artwork for a lot of the brothers in the schools. And so they went to meet with the brother. He used to go to this church. He said, man, meet me. There it is. Bring that back up if you could. There it is right there. That was Obama. No, is that the one he's in? I'm not. Okay, that might be the one he's in, because that looks like the new pastor right there to the left, Otis. I'm not sure.
I don't think none of them Jeremiah.
None of them is Jeremiah. Oh, okay. None of them is Jeremiah Wright. Okay. All right, but here's the point, which is so shameful when it comes to the work of the Lord, because they just whore themselves out to no matter to whomever. Anyway, they went to meet this brother. This brother was was meeting them to do the artwork. So they said, well, where can we meet up? And the brother said, well, we can meet up at let's meet up at the so-and-so church on the corner of such and such, such. I'll meet you in the parking lot. I used to go to that church. They said, all right. So they went there and they met up. They said they pulled in the parking lot and it was just one van and a couple of cars. It was Sunday. And they said, and he said to them, they said they came to talk about the artwork, but the brother could not even talk about the artwork because he was like, man, he said, this is, there you go. That's his reverend. Jeremiah Wright. Okay, so yeah, there you go. All right, so anyway, they got together in the parking lot. The brother couldn't even talk about the artwork because he was so shook by what he saw. And the brother, then Malquadden, was like, well, what's going on, brother? He was like, you don't understand. You see this where we at here? He said on a Sunday, you couldn't even get in this parking lot, let alone come up the street. He said, because this church holds 8,000 members. And this church right now is empty. He said, it ain't supposed to be like this on no Sunday. He said, and I heard about 2 other churches. One church, he said, had 1,300 members. And now they down to 300 members. They called me up, got me on the phone. I'm on the phone with them and the brother. They like, Gerald, you got to hear this here. You got to hear this. I said, what's going on? I thought something was wrong. Yeah. They said, man, you got to hear this, brother. The brother was like, man, it's. And he started naming churches and how many members they lost. Mm-hmm. And then he put his head over, or at least I assume he put his head over by the change in the volume on the phone. He said, and the pastor of this church that was named Otis Moss, he said, this church used to have 8,000 members. It lost so many members, he said, that they had to tell him to go get a job. He had to leave the church and go get a damn job, okay, a regular job. And so Marquard asked him while we on the phone, brother, what do you think is the reason? And he was like, the reason is that now with the internet and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, people don't have to come to the church no more. They can sit at home and smoke their weed while listening to the pastor, and they ain't got to come in no more. And they can still do their sin while, listening to the pastor. And if they don't want to hear that shit he talking, they just turn him off. And I chuckled. And then I talked to General Muhammad after. I was telling him what happened. Man, you had to hear this story, Mount Quantum. And Muhammad said something that was real heavy. Muhammad said, well, that is not really the reason. Right. He said, because how could that be a reason when everybody else that uses social media grows their movement? When you use social media, it grows your movement. The Intifada in the Middle East, the uprising in Egypt, all of those was done on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Even the people that's resisting Russia now, they on Facebook, Twitter, and whatever else they could get on. Okay. He said, so how could that be? That is not the reason. The reason is the Most High is bringing out how them people that sitting in that church is there for entertainment only. They're not in there because they believe in God. Mm-hmm. They're in there for entertainment. Okay. And the coronavirus showed everybody that what they doing in church is a lie. I told you before, it comes from the Babylonian Empire. The entire structure of the Christian church that you're in comes from the Babylonian Empire by way of the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church is the worship that they do is the worship of the Babylonian Empire. They got the same ideology as the Chaldeans, which is why they marry all of the Christian holidays to pagan holidays. And they just passed it down to the Christian church. And now Christians is walking around following the same thing. And as a result, just making a damn mess of a fake religion and don't even believe in it. God. And now them churches, brother, they say they can't even get the people in there. I posted a post on Facebook about a pastor who was saying, can y'all tell us why the numbers is so low in church and why you can't come back? Because you never was teaching about Christ. God. If you don't teach about Christ, don't nobody believe that God is in the midst of all of this. They just believe life is just whatever circumstances come along. Well, life is not whatever circumstances come along. Matter of fact, somebody get me the scripture where the Lord said, goings of man are not his own. How could he know his own way? I'm paraphrasing it a little bit. Y'all know that one, right? The ways of man, I forget how it go. You know where that's at?
Oh, I made sure. Did you want to get the brother on the line, sir?
Which brother?
I told the brother that you spoke to.
Why, you got somebody on the line now?
No, the brother that you spoke to at Captain Malquad, sir.
I know what you're asking me, but I'm saying, why are you asking me that now? You going to call him, you saying?
Well, if I may, also, Rod told me he was on standby.
Oh, he is on standby. Oh, well, then get him on the phone. Okay, I didn't know that. Let's get him on Salakia. Let's get him on the phone. Meantime, pull that scripture if you can. Y'all know the one I'm talking about? Call it out. Oh, you got it, General?
No,
go ahead, Jeremiah
10:23.
Let's see. Let me hear.
O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps.
Keep going. That's a good one, but that's not the one I'm looking for. But that's still a good one. Finish it, though.
Come. Verse 24. O Lord, correct me, but with judgment, not in thy anger, lest thou bring me to nothing.
Right. So, in other words, what Jeremiah is saying, in other words, man's way is not right. So, he's asking the Lord, correct him, because he don't want to go off. He rather take the correction, which is what we're supposed to do. And the Christian church is opposite. Right. They don't want the correction. They don't want to be told homosexuality is wrong. Right. They don't want to be told being a lesbian is wrong. They don't want to be told having women dress up like whores in church is wrong. They don't want to be told if putting women over men is wrong. They don't want to be told the philosophy of this society is wrong. They don't want to be told that saying Jesus had no color is in essence denying Jesus Christ. When of course he had a color, he had an identity and all that. All of those things they're saying they don't want to be told that those things are wrong. Right. Your pastor and your preacher is wrong. Right. He does not know the Bible. We've been saying, and the ones that do know the Bible do not want to teach the Bible because they know that it's not popular. You want to make money, you better not teach the Bible. If you want to make money, you better teach a lie and say that lie is of the Bible. That's how you're going to put money in you. You find it? Okay. Tell me where you at, Bob.
Okay. This is the book of Proverbs, the 20 and verse 24.
Listen to this good.
Man's goings are of the Lord.
Man's goings are of the Lord. You ain't on your own program. You think you on your own program. Right. But your goings are of the Lord. All you doing is rebelling and coming back. Rebelling and coming back. That's what the Bible is filled with. Our rebellion and coming back to the Most High. You're going to rebel one time too many and the Lord going to deal with you, man. He's going to deal with you and you ain't going to like the way he deal with you. Right. He's going to deal with you like a goddamn enemy because that's what you doing by not doing what he said. You understand? And that's for all you Christians out there that hearing my voice. That evil you've been doing that you know is evil. That lust that you can't stop, that you know is evil, you better stop. Right. Or he going to deal with you. Okay? Because how hypocritical can you be to be sitting up in church and doing everything that God said not to do? You've been getting away with this for years. And nobody spoke against these pastors. Name anybody. Nobody spoke against that except the Israelite school, UPK. Damn right. Nobody will talk against these pastors and the evil that they do except us. And now the Lord emptying out your church. I prophesied it already. Your churches is going to start turning into homeless shelters. That's right. I told y'all they're going to take them pews out. Them pews going to become firewood. Damn right. They're going to put mattresses in them churches. And them churches going to become homeless shelters. And then people, they're going to take donations in. What you see going on in Ukraine is supposed to be going on in every ghetto in America. Like they over there in Ukraine trying to feed everybody, give them a cup of soup, a cup of coffee, trying to take care of everybody. Meanwhile, you churches is sitting up there dressed to the nines on Sunday being the most selfish monsters in the world while ignoring all the hell the people outside have been going through while you get your money from the government or wherever the hell you getting it from while accepting every evil on the face of this earth. That's what's been going on with you. And as a result, we had nothing but a fake religion called Christianity. And that's why the Lord is shutting it down. Shutting it down. And they hated them brothers that did that during the time of Christ. Okay, go ahead, Ibad. Okay. Read it from the top real quick.
Okay. Man's goings are of the Lord.
Your goings, man, are of the Lord. Go ahead.
How can a man then understand his own way?
How could you understand your own way? How could you understand the way you going when them goings are of the Lord? Instead of trying to go your own way, go the way of the Most High. You don't understand why these things happen to you when you are going on your own way. when you trying to live the life of the world and being hard-headed. The Lord said, we as these 12 tribes, woo, we just don't care. No matter how much the Lord punish us. Get that for me. Get me where the Lord said, you know the one I'm talking about, you die? Where the Lord said, I punished you, but you have not returned. Like the Lord done said how he done punished us, but we have not returned. Like we don't equate punishment. You know what? Which is crazy, you know? Because as a child, when you punish a child, you recognize that this punishment is what's going to get this child correct. But when you get punished, you don't recognize that that punishment is for you to get right. You don't equate that punishment with you getting yourself together and stopping the evil that you're doing. You don't equate those two, man. And let me tell you something. Right now, in this time right now, every righteous man of the 12 tribes of Israel is supposed to be focusing on trying to serve the Most High in every possible way they can. Like you're not supposed to be in the at this time with what you see happening in the earth, you're supposed to be trying to serve the Lord, not serving yourself. This is the time when your service to the Most High and the 12 tribes are the most important thing. But instead, you can't get there because you've been in church so long being taught to serve yourself. And that's why you have a problem. Finish it for me, I bought. I know I'm running on. Did we finish it?
Okay.
One more last time, nice and loud.
Okay. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?
You ain't going to understand your own way, man. You're not going to understand why these things have happened to you. Why your life has been changed. Why is your church empty? Why is the coronavirus killing people? Why is war breaking out in Russia? Why are black people on the bottom and been on the bottom so long? Your silly mind tells you that comes because we evil, we criminals, we this. That's brainwashing, man. You don't understand. God punished you and wanted you to become brand new. You reading about being brand new. You don't even know what being brand new is. That means leaving off of that evil that you was doing before and forcing your flesh to do the right thing, which is to be in service to the Lord. To serve him is what you're supposed to be doing now, man. But instead, you adamant against him. You hard against him. But the sad part is the Lord know how to break you.
That's right.
When we rebelled against Christ in 68 AD, they surrounded Jerusalem, brother. They actually surrounded in 64. But by 68 AD, brother, we was eating our leather shoes. That was dinner. Dinner was the shoes that you had on your feet. Belt you had around your waist.
Right.
That's what you consumed to have food in your gut. That's how much we were starving. And that broke our ass. We learned that lesson then when it was too damn late. Because in 70 AD, they burned Jerusalem to the ground. But the Lord had given us so many warnings, so many corrections that your hard-headed ass don't never want to listen to.
God.
So he beat your ass until there was nothing left of you. And guess what? He going to do it again. He going to do it again till you give up every sin you ever wanted to have. He going to beat it out of you until you get right. And you better strive to get it right. You going to say something, General Salah?
Still want them not returning? Scripture?
Yes, please.
You got it, Eli, or no? I think it's Jeremiah 5 and 3.
Come.
O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved.
You hear that? He stricken you, meaning he put you in poverty, put you in chains in this empire, broke you down and put you underneath everybody. You the greatest empire that ever ruled the face of this earth. You still more talented than any other nation on earth. But the Lord stricken you. Lord broke you down, crippled you as a people. And you did not, and you what?
Have not grieved.
And you have not grieved. You didn't act like, yo, we was wrong and we should be sad for what happened to us and we got to correct ourselves and certain things in our life we should choose to put out of our life. No, God. You didn't grieve. You didn't grieve. That's why I don't understand the homosexual community. You get molested and then act like it's glorious to be a victim of molestation. Like rather than grieve and be sorry for what happened to you so it could be corrected and brought out, you instead turn around and act like it was a glorious thing that happened to you. And that now you're going to be proud and, you know, all of that. You didn't grieve, man. Same with you sisters. You know how many sisters? They said 1 in every 3 black women in the United States has been molested. 1 in every 3. That's a third. Now let's crack the numbers. 14 million black people in America, according to their numbers. Half and half, 7 and 7 would be equal. There's more women than men, but I'm gonna give you 7 million just to be safe. 7 million. Break me down. 7 divided by 3 is what? 7 divided by 3 is 3, and then you got 4 on top. That's 2.1 third.
Yeah, about 2.3.
2.3. 2.3 million black women in this country have been molested. 2.3, according to the stats. That's a lot of child molestation. It's a lot of rapes. That's a lot of destruction to the women of our people. 1 in 3, a third of our women, and you wonder why the proliferation of lesbianism is so great. And homosexuality, because when them women that have been molested grow up, what do you think they do to their boys? You think they want their boys to be aggressive sexually when they've been raped? When they've been molested? They don't want a boy that grow up to be sexually aggressive. So they beat it out of him from the time he's 5 years old. And many times it makes him a victim of homosexuality. That's one of the reasons they loved that church so much at the time. They loved that church so much because they felt like that church was going to make their children to be the children they wanted them to be, which was to be non-aggressive.
God.
Which was to be non-aggressive, man.
I just saw a video, if I may. I just saw a video. That's some little boy, little cute little boy. Looked like he about 5. You understand? He on there. He said, whoever got the camera, the mom or somebody said, go ahead, tell him. He said, I just want to say, I heard this new gospel on the ride here, and it touched me here in my heart, and it was beautiful. And I just want to give y'all little words on what this song means, because it touched me. You know, it made me feel peace, and it made me feel joy, and it made this 5-year-old boy, he going in, he doing the whole, everything he done heard in church. I done felt the peace, and it gave me the faith, and I felt the something. And these are the words like Jesus, God, and he starts singing, and I just cried. I said, "Oh, poor little boy." You know, they think that church building them and making them closer to God when it's just making them feminine. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's just creating the thing that hurts you, like you said. You knocking all the strength and masculinity out of them in the name of Jesus, you know. It was a sad thing to watch.
And his was dangerous. I'm sorry, General.
No, that was it.
That was right. Because his was dangerous about it. His was so dangerous about it. Now, you done made this boy emotional as a child. Now, he grew up to be a young man, and evil things happen to him, especially because he's feminine. And when those evil things happen to him, his resolution is to be emotional. And now he's handling things emotionally. You wonder why some of these young black men is so emotional, shooting each other at the drop of a dime, strung out on drugs, bugging the hell out, killing their girlfriend. Because you done raised them in these churches with this emotional feminine spirit. And as a result, when they become a young man, they handle everything emotional. Right. Like that same passion he got for that new song is the same passion he gonna have when he angry. Because he don't know how to control them emotions. Because you taught him so wrong. And thanks be to the Lord, he's shutting down them churches. Thanks be to God. He emptying them churches, man. Because another thing them churches have done too is them churches have taught black women how to empower themselves against those children's fathers. Them children's fathers, you become monsters to these children's fathers. These like damn near, for a lot of these fathers to have time with their children, they got to emasculate themselves. Right. Like just to go see the kid, they got to put up with you and your new man and your nasty mouth and your rules and your everything when the child is theirs as well. When the child is just as much theirs as it is yours, and you got to put up with all of that. And brother, they are not having it too much more. You understand? They not having that too much more. And that's why they rising in the spirit that they in. And that's why God is shutting them churches down. Them churches are very evil places. And you've been thinking they very God-like places when they've been very evil places, man. Okay? Go ahead. That was it on that.
Let me read on. Good. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction.
Right. Thou hast consumed them, but they refuse to receive correction. They refuse to receive the correction that they should receive, man.
They have made their faces harder than a rock.
Dang.
They have refused to return.
They refuse to return. Made their faces, brother, harder than a rock and refuse to return. And brother, that's what we've done against the Most High, and that's why we're getting punished. And that's why we're going to be dragged into all of the mess that's gone on in this earth until we get right.
I'm right.
So we make that change, man, and come over that hill and change the life that we had. You understand? And become a different and have a different life. Go ahead.
Therefore I said, surely these are poor. They are foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord.
Right. These are poor and foolish, he said, because they obviously don't know. They don't understand how foolish they are because they ain't following the way of the Most High. And you got to be a fool not to obey the Lord. Which is once again why your churches have descended and you pastors have exonerated yourself. You don't hold yourself guilty for nothing your congregation do.
Right.
You don't give a damn. They could be murdering and in the penitentiary. You don't never feel some damn. His mother spent her whole life in the church with us, and it seemed like it didn't rub off. You just blame her for it when she's in there up under you. How much teaching you doing to her for her to do the right thing? Like it's just a horrible. Like we are leaderless, except when we turn to Christ, when we really turn to Him. And that's why what GEN.YAHANNA said is so heavy when Christ said, these wars must come. You ain't reading about Christ because you don't want to read that part. So you ain't following what he said. So when it come time for you to do what's right, you don't even know what the hell you're supposed to do. That was it on that. You ain't even got to go no further on that. Come. Next story. Time check.
Time check, sir, 9:54.
Come, let's go.
Israel fires missiles on border positions inside Syria.
Go ahead.
Israel has fired several missiles at Syria's border province of Quneitra, causing material damage. A Syrian military statement did not give details about the positions that came under attack early on Wednesday. Syria state TV quoted an unnamed Syrian military official as saying that the missiles were fired from Syria's Israeli-occupied Golan Heights and struck areas around the nearby town of Quneitra.
I bet you ain't gonna be no protests all over Russia for that. I bet you ain't gonna be white people all over there getting arrested over Syria getting bombed. They're gonna be sad and upset over them Russians getting bombed. I mean, over them Ukrainians getting bombed, but they ain't gonna be sad over them Arabs getting bombed. Like they done taught the whole world to hate them Arabs. God. And they done taught the whole world to love them. Go ahead, Go ahead, you was gonna say something?
If I may, sir, would you bring it out? It's so heavy. Like I remember this past Friday when we went out to camp at 15th and JFK, they had a whole rally out there at City Hall. You know what I mean? And the simple amongst our people protesting, like, oh, it's sad what's going on in the Ukraine. It's sad that they're going on at war. And I remember myself and Officer Zarwai going into it. Like, you know what's really sad? Our Haitian brothers and sisters being whipped at the border, and nobody gave a damn about them except the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. And our Hispanic brothers and sisters in cages. You want to cry for the Ukraine. You want to cry for every oppressor and every heathen, where we catching hell right over here, right under your nose, and you don't even care. That was
right,
awesome.
Right. Like you're right. Like let Putin go and put Ukrainian babies in cages, right, like Donald Trump did and Obama. Let them put Ukrainian babies in cages and watch the white world lose their damn mind. Let little blonde, blue-haired white kids sit in cages with a blanket like they did the Mexicans, and the world will go insane. They'll be calling for war crimes and tribunals in The Hague on Putin. They'll be saying the world must bring him to justice. Let him one day. Let him put them white babies in cages, brother, and he will be Adolf Hitler for the rest of all time. Exactly. He'll be Adolf Hitler for the rest of all time. Meanwhile, Donald Trump did it publicly and not a ripple on the world stage. Right. Like, where was the Ukrainians in the streets then? Where was the Ukrainian protest for all those Mexican babies, man? You understand? Where was the protest then? But boy, the outpour for seeing a Ukrainian get killed, like them Ukrainian white women crying in the trains. Listen, they just crying in the train station, Maya. They ain't bombed. They ain't in cages. They ain't, you know what I mean? They just crying while leaving the country holding their baby.
Kids got the nicest coats.
Yes.
They dress nice. I was looking at them kids. They was dressed well.
Candy bars. You know what I'm saying? But that white woman crying in that train station and Putin, you're Satan. like Putin become enemy number one. You understand? Because this white woman is crying in the train station because she having trouble getting her baby out. Meanwhile, we're gonna get into the story in a second on the report of how horrible they treating black people over there in Ukraine. How they so racist against black people. They won't even let them get on the trains and get the hell up out of there with them, man. We'll come to it, but let's finish on this.
Okay, if I may
come on, gentlemen.
And that just shows that the witchcraft of our oppressor.
Yes.
Like their TV, the media, everything, it trains us who to care for and who not to care for. You understand? Black people really ain't know what a Ukraine was a year ago, probably. Most of us, they ain't know what the hell a Ukraine was.
Yeah.
But because now it's in the news, and now the propaganda of America is like Putin is the great Satan. It used to be Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
Then it was who the cat flew the planes.
Osama bin
Laden. Now it's Putin. He the great Satan, and everybody gotta hate him. You gotta hate him. Look what he's doing. Look at Ukraine. Look at the women crying. And that witchcraft, every black people out there protesting. That from what Yedaya said, right? Now black people is on board. Slack sir.
John, you take the missile down off the screen. Yeah, man. Go ahead, please, John.
One scripture, sir?
Please get down.
Okay, they get Ezekiel 35:6 out. What you saying, General, is so right. Like it's still something in them, even though they like America's not Ukrainian, it's still something in them to know that they white people. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though they tore us apart from our brothers, to understand like the Hispanics and the Brazilians and the Cubans, they are brothers, but it's something still in them to know that they white. You know what I'm saying? They like me, like they my people, so they still feel that type of, you know what I'm saying? They still feel that love for them. You know what I'm saying? That they take away from us and strip from us, and we gotta give it to them, like General Y'all saying. But it's still something in them that want them to love their own people. You understand? From their own people. It's crazy. Can you read that script out? But this is why black people, we got to turn back to the Most High. Oh, Salaki, that's me, Salaki. This is why we got to turn back to the Lord. Read that scripture out.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God.
Go ahead.
I will prepare thee unto blood.
Read that part again.
I will prepare thee unto blood.
Read on.
And blood shall pursue thee.
Read on.
Since thou hast not hated blood.
Since thou hast what?
Not hated blood.
See, since you they ain't care about shedding our blood.
No.
But you feel something when your blood gets shed.
Yes, when a Ukrainian woman cries.
Exactly.
You feeling something now.
Yeah.
I mean, they over there in Russia. 6,000 Russians got arrested. God. I mean, they over there in Russia like God and Jesus. The end of the world. Because these Ukrainians is getting bombed back into the Stone Age.
Strong, sir.
Listen, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Okay, because once again, like what General Mayak just said and what you just backed up with him, let me tell you something that y'all, for those of you that's a little more spiritual out there, that understand what they just said is absolute proof that they are prophets of God. It is absolute, unequivocal proof that they're prophets of God, because the witchcraft that they are teaching the world about loving their people and not ours, brother, nobody's able to break through that witchcraft. Whether they in church, in the mosque, nobody is able to break through that witchcraft and to see clearly into it except y'all. And that comes from the Most High studying these scriptures. Like, damn right. Like, that is why you able to see through that. Because once again, and I'll add something else. Let me add cream in that on top of that. Here's the cream on top of it. That's also proof about how hard it is in this place. Okay, let me get the words right. It's also proof that to fight to bring the 12 tribes of Israel together is such a spiritual fight, because you coming up against a tidal wave of hate the Latinos, hate the West Indians, hate the blacks, love white people, love white people, love. So while you going trying to build the 12 tribes up, it's like you going against everything that's supposed to be right, so-called right in this kingdom. You going against the right spirit, because what you saying is true. What you saying is true. The love, it's like it's in the air with them. They don't, even the way they covering it, even the way CNN is covering it, it's like, it's such a horror, such a tragedy. Meanwhile, they had Mexican babies. And we ain't talking about soldiers. We're talking about babies that's trying to cross the border because of wars in their country. They was refugees. Exactly. Like, they was having wars over there in them South American countries. The economy down there with Maduro and them crashed. All them places been poor for years. And them people coming up here trying to cross the border, bring their children. It ain't no refugee respect or love for them. Right. But them people over there in Poland, they crossed the border. They got pamphlets waiting, food at the train station, direction for hotels. It ain't no get you Ukrainians out of here. You Ukrainians is evil. You crossing our border. We should build a border wall. Ain't none of that discussion. Would show you that the world is in an order where white people are the ones that's loved. Y'all hated us so much for coming up against it. That's proof that we are prophets of God, and that we are pushing this truth, because we're the ones that got to push against the tidal wave. Even the Muslims is opening the doors to let other nations in. Right. You don't hear them. Do you hear Muslims talking about the white man's the devil and all that? They ain't saying that no more. You know what I mean? And Khalid Muhammad was the last one trying to say that. The rest of them got quiet and nice and full of love. You understand? And that's because the wave of pushing that white supremacy out have broken everybody down. And they push it real hard. And here's the thing. It's going to reverse when Christ come back. It's going to be different. Go ahead, Art.
And if I could, sir, and that's why, in Isaiah, that's why the Lord say, "O Lucifer, son of the morning." Like, he's, like you saying, he's shining and everybody love him and he all powerful and things like that. But when it come to our people, like what you saying, sir, I can feel it in the epitome when we say, black man, you the chosen people. And then our people say, you wrong for that. Like, that's that wave you talking about, the love white people. Like, they can't just, you know what I'm saying? Like, to love black people in here, like you saying, that spiritual is a spiritual war to bring us together, because even our own people say you wrong for saying that. Yeah. Saying that we the chosen people of the Lord, that Christ died for us only. And we ain't saying to kill no white person. We ain't saying to bomb him like, Putin is doing. Yeah, exactly. We ain't telling you to do none of that. But just to say you better than them is too much. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that is deeper than what people realize. So,
listen, somebody in the chat right now talking about, if I leave my church and join y'all, I might as well be dead already.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like what you saying is heavy. At least, okay, if you go to church, you should at least examine how much you're bleeding for the Ukrainians right now. And you should bleed that much more for your own people in the ghettos and everywhere else. When you do not bleed for them in the same way that you bleed for those other. And something Muhammad always brings out that's so heavy. General Muhammad always brings this out. He always said, if you say you love everybody, then you hate black people. Right. And the reason he says that, which is so right, is this. If you love everybody, then you would have the same passion for everybody's suffering equally. So if you got some passion for the suffering of the Ukrainians, then why don't you have that passion for the suffering of the Mexicans. If you don't like the way Putin done came down on the Ukrainians, then how could you not be as equally upset with how cops are killing black men all the way across this country?
Right.
Massive incarceration. That's exactly what Putin getting ready to do. What you think he getting ready to do? When he take over that country out, the same way they economically take over your ghetto. You wonder why your ghetto's so poor. The same reason. See how they shut them banks off and shut off that money to Ukraine? They doing the same thing to you in the Wells Fargo. They doing the same damn thing to you. They destroy you economically the way they destroy countries economically.
Right.
Then you end up in poverty and burnt out houses like a bomb hit you. Only it wasn't a bomb, it was an economic bomb that hit you. So where are you church people at that so compassionate for the suffering of the Ukrainians? Why you ain't as compassionate for the poor black people? Because you blame them. You don't blame the Ukrainians for going against Putin and joining the West. You don't blame them for that. You don't blame them for being greedy, selfish, white supremacists and Nazis, which we're going to bring out in that next story. Get that next story about how they were treating blacks over there. You understand? You ain't feeling bad for that. You understand? Instead, you blame God's people for their suffering. And that's what's so beautiful about the Lord. Even though the world might blame black people and Latino people for their own suffering and hate them so much. You understand? But God, he could see through lies every day. And he sees through those lies and sees that it is not that their fault, that it is the fault of those that oppress them. You know what burns in my mind so much, y'all? What burns in my mind so much is when them Haitians were trying to cross that border. And when that Mountie, whatever the hell he was, Ranger, Border Patrol, whatever that piece of shit was, that was on that horse, that ran that horse up on those Haitians and had the nerve to say, that's why your country is a shithole, and ran the horses right up on him, just had absolutely no compassion on this human being who was starving and trying to cross the border for his own safety. Damn, you don't have to accept it. There it is right there. He said, look at that piece of shit. This man is running with bottles of water. He's trying to put water in him. He's not fighting your country. He's not bombing your country. Put it back up. Okay, he's not bombing your country. He's not a terrorist. He's not robbing you. He's carrying water. Water. And you run up on him with a horse and about to drag him with the horse and say, that's why your country's a shithole. Like, you telling me that you in the right place and we not, you, like this person on the internet about, if they join us, they might as well die. You going to die in them churches.
That's right.
Die because you ignore this, but you're going to have compassion on the Ukrainians. You ain't going to have compassion on these Haitians, but you're going to have compassion on the Ukrainians. Give me a picture of them babies in them cages. Like you ain't going to have compassion on them, but you're going to have compassion on them Ukrainians. You're going to die in them churches by the hand of the Lord, not our hand. Don't worry about us. You ain't never got to worry about us. We ain't going to do nothing to you. God going to do it to you. He going to destroy your church. He going to give you viruses and kill you. He going to poison you because you are a hard-headed, selfish piece of garbage that will not hear God's words. You're a selfish monster and a racist against black people. You got probably just as many racist black people that's racist against blacks and Latinos than you do white people. White supremacists talk about they got to come together and they trying to come oath keepers and all of them. They ain't got nothing to worry about. Them oath keepers and Proud Boys ain't got nothing to worry about. It's enough of you dumbass blacks and Latinos that would join them white supremacists because you hate your people so goddamn much. Right. You hate them so much. And a lot of you Latinos, you ain't getting off the goddamn hook. A lot of you low-life, slow-belly bastards. A lot of you join that white man and try to be white. That's the thing make me so mad. You done use that light skin, a lot of you, and tried to pass and be up in there, just like Enrique and the rest of them, in there with them white supremacists trying to pass for a white supremacist, man. Trying to pass for a white man. You understand? And meanwhile, you done joined the military because you a warrior by nature, because you one of the 12 tribes, and you done put your loyalty with the man that slaughtered and murdered your own people. You understand? I don't even understand that. Go ahead, you die.
Now, if I could, sir, remember we did
that's not a good one, man. Give me a good one, man, where they all packed in there. That's one of the later, better detention camps.
Carnival.
You got to get them ones where they packed in and get a close-up shot of them. They sitting up in there packed in like sardines with 5-year-old babies. Imagine that, a 5-year-old baby incarcerated in a cage. I mean, that's like inhumane, like I can't even explain. 5 years old for crossing the border, you put them in a cage. The trauma, they ain't with their parents in a cage. They can't go nowhere. They don't know what's going on. They don't even know. That's now you talking. Come on. Now you cooking with grease. Look at that. That's the real detention camp.
You can't even lay down.
That's pod 2, they call it. That's the real detention camp. Those are babies. Babies! God damn it. That's who's up in there. Babies. You understand? And they ain't no command. Where's the 6,000 Russians that went to jail over them? Right. Where's the 5,000 Americans that was protesting down in Washington and City Hall over them? Where they at? Where they at? Where's all what happened?
Why the Ukrainians wasn't protesting?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Why black people didn't go down there and lose your goddamn mind over this? We did. Right. We did. Big shout out to Yatazak and the whole Texas camp going across the goddamn border. Hey, is he still on hold? Did we get him? Oh, we didn't get him? Okay, don't worry about it. If he called, we'll take the call. Come on, guy.
If I could say one thing, and also too, like our oppressor is such a demonic bully. Like as you looking at the picture, they got them cramped in them cages, but there's obviously room in that building for them not to be so, up on each other like that. Like, for what reason do you have to, cage them people like that when there's clearly room in that whole facility for them to just stay there? Like, you can't just leave them out in the open. They not running back to where they came from.
And it ain't even a facility. Look at the roll down gates. That's a warehouse.
Right.
That's a warehouse you got them in. And listen, and God, Lord forbid, I don't even want to ask where the hell is the goddamn bathrooms. Okay? Because along that other fence, that's another pod.
Right.
Look at the baby that the cat is holding next to the yellow sign. Look at that baby. Look at that baby out in a goddamn cage. A little child sitting in a cage because they crossed your border, a border that you stole from them. Like, you are monsters, man. And of course, only prophets of God would have the compassion on them. Where's the Catholic Church at? They always protesting abortion. Where the hell was they at? Where's your big Christian megachurch? Where was the big Christian megachurch march? Black or Latino? Which one? Name it. Where was it at that march downtown to City Hall, that protest with big flags and banners saying free these Mexican babies? What did anybody see that? Did I miss that one in CNN? No, I ain't miss it. It didn't exist. It didn't exist. You don't know what to love, black people, Latino people. God. You don't have no goddamn clue what the hell you should love and what you shouldn't love. You love whatever the master tell you to love.
Right.
That's what the hell you love. And whatever the master say he don't love, you don't love. And it don't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. You sat up there and complained that you hated Trump so goddamn much. Why in the hell that was your opportunity to protest against Trump? That was your opportunity to protest against Trump. And you got more mud on you because you damn near you marched all over this country for George Floyd, and you was right to do so. But you didn't march nowhere for these Mexican babies.
But you love everybody.
But you love everybody equally. You love everybody equally, and you bleed your heart bleeding for the Ukrainians. Your heart bleeding for the Ukrainians, man. That's why listen, when God brings judgment, don't never blame him. I told you, I young coming up, brother, I opened up the Bible and I see how much killing God did. I was like, this cat here, he ain't the God I thought he was. Like, this cat here killing everybody, burning up countries and killing people. And you know what I mean? I was like, Ooh. Then I really start studying the Bible, and I realize now I know why he do it. I know exactly why he do it. If you don't let black people on the train during a crisis, I know you are super racist when there ain't no crisis. Like during a crisis, you let everybody get the hell out the country. But you so racist that it's a crisis. Bombs coming out of the sky. People getting on the train trying to get out the country before they get killed. And you say you niggas can't get on the train. You got to stay here when the bombs come down. Or find yourself your own way out of the country. Damn that. F y'all. We only letting our white people on the train. That's what happened. We get ready to read the story right now. And you wondering why God let Putin come down. Don't call on God now. Don't you do it. Don't you go now and say, oh, Lord, help us. Oh, Lord, help us. And America better be watching the prophecies of God too. Because don't you turn around and say nothing. Because when God punished you for what you've done to the 12 tribes of Israel, oh my God, it's going to be worse than Ukraine. It's going to be way worse than Ukraine. Let's get y'all was going to say something before I go? Go ahead.
I just want to say one thing. I just want to say how heavy it always is, especially with these scriptures. Like this truth is so powerful. Like as you speaking about Putin, all I can remember, my man, is how the Lord said he gonna harden Pharaoh's heart. Like the Lord rise up a devil and he put a devil on a path, and it's like can't nobody stop him. Like he get in the devil ear, get in his Putin ear. He like, I don't care about my people protesting whatever. We bombing them cats. Yeah. Like he just hardened their heart. Yeah. Like the Lord vicious Salaga.
You right.
That's what I'm thinking about.
6,000 Russians protesting in front of the what is that, the Kremlin,
right?
And he got convoys of soldiers going into the country. He like, damn that, right? Bomb them into the Stone Age,
right?
You understand? Like that's you right. Let's get that other story, man. Time check.
Time check 10:18, sir.
All right, let's go.
Black immigrants report racist treatment as they try to flee Ukraine.
Go ahead. Come on, bring it out. Bye.
Black immigrants have reported experiencing racism and being stopped from fleeing to safety as Russia continues its assault against Ukraine.
It is bombs falling in Ukraine, and they will not let you leave the country with them. Imagine that. Imagine that. Go ahead, you die.
If I could, sir. You know what I mean? I touched on this earlier before Gen.YAHANNA, taught the class. It amazes me, like you was bringing out, sir, there are bombs falling on them right now. Bombs. People, I saw a video.
This ain't no joke. It ain't, you know what I mean? It ain't a hurricane came and it left, and now you leaving, but the hurricane gone. The bombs falling now. Are you hearing them in the distance? Boom, boom. You trying to get on the train. Go ahead.
If I could, sir, would you bring out it so heavy? I saw a video of like two devils trying to get to the train station, got blown up before they even got there.
Dang.
But in the midst of all that, Gen.YAHANNA summed it up so perfectly. It's like, hold on, Putin. Hold on, Russia. What these niggas trying to do? Y'all trying to get on this plane? Y'all trying to get on this train? No. Truth real quick. Yeah, you can't get on this train. And that amazes me. And our people are still gonna go and protest and say save the Ukraine, but if you black in the Ukraine, you can't even flee.
And here's if I could add to what you're saying, here's the killer. They sending black troops over there to the border in Poland, in Hungary, like they over on that border are bringing food and everything for the same white supremacists that's telling black people you can't get on the train. Yeah. Like if this ain't the same as World War II, I don't know what the hell is. You gotta save the Nazis from Putin bombing them, but then they ain't letting your own people get on the train and get the hell up out of there. I mean, in a crisis like that, and people are fleeing, they trying to get to safety. Okay. You let them on with everybody else. Instead, no. They had one Latino woman. They showed the tape. She's standing out there, and they packed the train packed. And she's like one of a few people left on the platform. And they saying to her, and she said, I don't understand. They won't let me on the train. I don't understand. And the train pulling out, packed. People is a standing room only on the train. That's how many people up on the train. And this Latino woman, middle-aged Latino woman, They leave her on the goddamn platform while the train pulling out. She don't even know what the hell is going on. You telling me the white man's not the devil?
Right.
You know what I mean? Stay in your church, man.
That's
Keep praising Jesus.
That's right.
Keep praising Jesus. Hallelujah. Holy Ghost fill. Okay. The Lord gonna fill that ghost with something. It's gonna be smoke coming in that church in a minute by God's hand. Okay. Not mine, but God's hand. You was gonna say something, Salah? That was it, General?
Yes, sir.
Let's keep reading.
Okay. More than 5,000, more than 500,000 refugees have fled from Ukraine.
So 500,000 have gotten out. Go ahead.
Into neighboring countries since Russia invaded its neighbor last week.
Go ahead.
Several videos that have gone viral on social media.
Because I thought I was bugging when I first heard it. Y'all heard me talk about it, right? I had first mentioned it like Saturday night. I was like, I'm looking at the train. It's looking like they ain't letting black people on the train. You know us. We always catch when somebody ain't handling us right. We know right away, like, hold up, man. They ain't handling us right. We pick up on it right away. So I'm watching. I'm saying, but it's Ukraine. So I don't know. It could be a cultural thing. I don't know. So I'm looking like they ain't looking like they dealing with us all the way right. Come to find out, the stories come out. You go ahead, iBods. Go ahead and read it from where you was at.
Several videos that have gone viral on social media appear to show black people being denied access to trains.
There it is. We being denied access to trains. What is it? Go ahead.
Including one that showed Ukrainian forces apparently pushing a black girl off a train, but allowing a white girl aboard.
Pushed her off the train in Ukraine. And Putin said it too. He said he bombing Nazis. That's what he said. Come to find out, he might be telling a little bit of the truth.
Yeah, God.
And why CNN ain't all over? I think they send the sister in now. I think she getting ready to do a story on it because they know it's going viral. So they know they got to be up on it. So they're going to have to report on it. But they ain't came all the way clean. Go ahead.
Other videos capture ugly incidents at border crossings.
Ugly incidents at border crossing. Go ahead. Is it more?
That was basically it, sir.
Okay. That was pretty much it. So it shows you, get me where the Lord said that he has had a perpetual hatred for us. You know what I mean? Then get me Genesis where it said we struggled together in the womb. Get me both of those right quick.
What was the first one, sir?
What was the first one, y'all? That I
You got it. Okay.
Okay, good. Like that's amazing. Putin bombing their country out. But you think if somebody is bombing your country, the brother leave out? Okay, yeah. If somebody is bombing your country out, you understand, into the Stone Age, you would think that you would need all the friends you could get. You would welcome all the friends. We all in this together. We all struggling. Putin killing Ukraine. Y'all, come on. But these bastards are so racist that even though their country being bombed to bits, they still hate black people. Throw them off the train and only save their own.
If I could.
Like, I ain't going to care what Putin do to that country. Go ahead,
That's a lot. I'm gonna cut you up, but it just shows you that they ain't part of the country. They
yes.
Like you ain't a part of our country. Like they look at us over here. Like you not a part of our country at all.
Exactly. Now, most of those are Hamites over there. But they don't know the difference between which is a Hamite and which is us. So they would treat us the same way they treat the Hamite. You understand? So in some cases, it's a Hamite. But it don't matter because, of course, it's so few of them in the country. And some of them are blacks from America over there for all kinds of reasons. Businesses. Some of them went over there and got married to them heathens and all that also. But the fact that they block us all the way around, I mean, that's amazing to me. That's amazing to me in 2022, Putin dropping bombs on the country and y'all get to the train station, people trying to flee, and you block black people and throw them off the train and make sure only the white people get out, and 500,000 white people get out. Well, black people can't even get the fuck out.
That's a biblical hatred.
That's a biblical hatred.
With all the fear and the chaos, it's like you ain't even seeing it. You trying to work together. Let's figure out something. Let's work together to get on this train, or figure out something else. Another way we can get the hell out of here. Let's build something and roll down these tracks.
That's supposed to give you compassion. You know what I'm saying? Like even black people in all they suffer. I mean, cut you off. Like even black people in all they suffering and struggling in the 60s, when white people wanted to come on and join on and help them, they invited them white people in. I wouldn't have, but they invited them white people in and said, we in this struggle together.
Right.
But these bastards out, they don't even care that you in the struggle with them. They hate you regardless.
It's like in all the chaos, let's get on this train. Let's get on the train. Hey, you nigga.
Right.
you get out of here.
Right.
They see you and they remember this thing it's just in them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's just,
yes.
They happen to turn around. All right, everybody, let's come up. Wait a minute. Don't touch me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't understand. So
like you would think I'm trying to get out of here, man. They bombing. I don't care who get on the train, man. Who cares who get on here? We trying to get out of here.
God.
So let's all get on the train. Let's get the hell out of here before the bombs come. Not these bastards. The bombs coming. Let's go. Huh? No niggas. No niggas. Like they deserve whatever they get.
Go ahead.
That's heavy too, sir. There was a story, you know what I mean? It's lucky for not bringing
before you go to it. One last quick point. And if you would be that cruel during Putin bombing the country, then that means without Putin bombing the country, you are totally merciless on black people. That means you ain't never gonna have no compassion on black people because you ain't even compassionate in an emergency when you need them to save your life. So you ain't never gonna be less than a disgusting racist, man. I see why Mike Tyson knocked that damn Klitschko's ass out, made him quit. Beat that Klitschko till he quit the damn boxing match. Because he went in there thinking he was going to bring that white supremacy down on Mike Tyson and found out that the tribe of Judah reigned supreme in the boxing ring and taxed his ass till he quit. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. What was you going to say? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, if I may, sir, there was a brother, Maurice Cheeks. I'm about to put him on the screen now.
Okay.
He plays professional basketball over there in the Ukraine, and this brother was stranded.
He was stranded.
Stranded, sir. Stranded.
Meanwhile, he played professional ball over there and can't get out the country because of these white supremacists.
Okay.
Like, you got to return to your 12 tribe. And also, that's why it take a real man of God with some real strength to really push and raise up the 12 tribes. Because the vibe, like you brought out earlier, coming out the walls, is to hate black people and to love white people, to raise them up and push us all the way into the ground. Right. That's the real spirit that's out here, man. You know what I mean? And many of you blacks only believe that the way for you to come up is if you join on to white people. Right. If white people help raise you up, and that's been your problem the whole damn time. Come on, go ahead.
So you took the words of my mouth. I was about to say, what compelled him to go to Russia to play? It's like the basketball is so important. Like you are surrounded by it. Got to be something. Like the truth teach you to acknowledge who your enemy is. So it's like you got to acknowledge. You got to know that. Okay, I go to Russia. Okay, Russia is not. There's not too many of us over there. So it's like you are surrounded by your enemy. Like what will compel you to say, "Well, I'm gonna just go play ball over there for a check"? Like you got to have some type of resilience against your own. You know what I mean? Your own self-worth, you know what I'm saying, to make money. You know what I'm saying? That's what you learn in the ghetto. Like you got to make money and survive. So you take yourself all the way to the Caucasus Mountains to play basketball. I don't understand that. It's a lot.
And could you imagine the racism he's suffering when he's on the court? Imagine the racist remarks. I bet you could find news articles on it. Go ahead, Joe.
That's when the reality hit him. That's when the witchcraft of the church go away.
Right.
It would take them over there is that witchcraft. A lot of Christians think that them other countries accept you more than America because America's so racist, but like nobody else is. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of entertainers like to go to France and different countries and perform because they get a lot of money, and they got this belief that those other countries love them more than America. They less racist,
right?
But then they go over there and find out the truth. You know what I'm saying? And be horrible for them.
You got more? What you holding 2 scriptures? What we holding?
Ezekiel 35.
Let's read that.
Okay. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword.
See what the Lord said? Had a perpetual, they had an endless hatred of us. Meanwhile, when you speak up against it, then you're the racist. Like, we can't speak up against the racism they doing to us. Like, you can't talk about these Ukrainians who done did so evil to black people when they trying to flee out of the country. If you talk about that, like, you're the evil one. Meanwhile, they committing the racism. We ain't committing racism on nobody. They committing it on us. And we still be the ones demonized. That's how much love for them in this place. Go ahead,
Kauka. In the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end.
Right. In the time of our calamity, while we suffering, they ain't have no compassion on us. When we was suffering and being carried away into Babylon, they was killing the ones of us that got away. They was doing, we already going into captivity. These bastards still was killing us according to the scripture. While the ones of us that's getting away, they slaughtering and killing us. And brother, that's how these same Edomites think. Those is real Edomites over there. And they think in the same damn way. Like, they gonna kill us regardless. They gonna kill us even though, they'll let you sit there and get bombed by Putin rather than let you get out of the damn country. Go ahead.
Continue in Ezekiel, sir.
Was there more?
We went over it.
If you went over it, then that's fine. Just give me the next one.
Okay. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 22. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Of course, you got to go back and get in the classes to get the story. Our children struggle. We struggled together against them Edomites, brother, in the womb. And we struggled against them in that womb. You understand? We struggled against them in the womb. Go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. She went to go check from the Lord. Why did this happen? Why was this going on? Why are they fighting in my womb? We weren't even born yet. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations are in thy womb.
And
2 nations are in thy womb. We different from them. Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, man. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
We're the stronger people, but we under the punishment right now. But we are the stronger people. Go ahead. You know we strong because, listen, they got to put propaganda out day and night to keep them soldiers and them people motivated. But meanwhile, we been here 400 years and we still positive as we could be about what it is that we're doing. Go ahead.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the elder shall serve the younger. When this is all over, brother, the elder gonna serve the younger.
I'm right.
When this is all over. When this is all over, the elder is gonna serve the younger. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
There were twins in her womb. When her days would be fulfilled, there was twins in her womb. And them twins were 2 different manner of people. So that was it on that. All right.
Okay. And there's a heavy part, General. I
Go ahead.
You brought out when it said two nations. Oh man, Slocky. Go back, Ibad. Forgot the line.
This is the book of Genesis.
The last couple of verses.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Like you said, that's the part that it was like one people shall be stronger. Like you said, we so much stronger than our oppressor that, like the general said, they spend billions of dollars every year for propaganda to make us look like we're nothing, to make us look like we're weak. Billions of dollars to put out their sorcery on the TV channels and on the radios and on your movies, teaching us not to fight, teaching us to accept the lower position, while at the same time, the same movie that teaches black people how we should be, we the goofy ones that run, we the goofy ones that shouldn't fight, but in their movies, they always got to fight. They understand and teach their children that they got to fight to be free,
right?
To get free, to get
like
normal
for justice,
right?
For
For
righteousness.
like
that's what all them cartoons is about. Well, you so right, General. Go ahead.
Cut it to one cut. And so they understand something about our manner and their manner. Like the Lord just said, two manners of people are in her womb. We was two different people with two different type of spirits. And they know if they just let everybody be equal and let everything be fair, we naturally rise and we naturally take over. It's just natural. We have more kids but you got some of your beard that kind of slide. And we just naturally rise and take over. You understand? It's just natural for us. So they know they can't just let everything be normal or we'll grow and take over the whole earth.
That's what the Egyptians said.
So they got to do something, physically do something, action to keep us oppressed, to keep us down. Slock, because
give it up.
One person is stronger than the other. Slock.
That was heavy, bro. Was it more?
That was Slock.
That was heavy, General. That was heavy. All right. So there's the proof. So that's it on that. Where we going next, yo?
Russia-Ukraine conflict live updates. Over 100 people killed, hundreds injured after Russia invades.
Oh, you got to get this over. Yeah. Man, this is heavy. General Mayak is getting ready to send you a picture of the Ukrainian Defense Force from Kahan, Thumyad. And in the background, they have a Nazi flag.
That's what Putin talking about.
That's exactly what Putin was saying. Sound like he wasn't lying. Because, I mean, this is the proof. They got a Nazi flag behind them, and they the Defense Force. That ain't an official flag. They the Ukrainian Defense Force. Why do they have a the actual Adolf Hitler Nazi flag? We ain't even talking about a Confederate flag. We talking about a Nazi flag. Well, he gonna send it to you, man. You got to see that. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay. And Slock, if I may, that just goes to show you all we hear is the witchcraft in America.
Yes.
All we get is their propaganda.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The truth, they don't play everything that's the truth in America.
Yes.
Because we in here and under their oppression, we only see what their people put in the media.
Look at that.
And we only hear about how horrible Putin is and how horrible everybody else is. But we never hear about how horrible America is or the people that they're with.
Ukrainian Defense Force. Look at the Nazi flag to the right. Go ahead,
Captain Brown doing the high hole silver. High Hitler right there.
Yes, he is.
Doing his arm out.
Yes, he is. So while Putin bombing, they still upholding the Nazi flag. Right. And meanwhile, millions of dollars from the U.S. is getting poured into that. Millions being poured into there. Right. Millions of tax dollars being poured into there to help Nazis, just like Putin was saying. He said he come after Nazis. You know what I mean? And them Nazis still, something amazing about the Edomites, brother. They could lose a war 60 years ago, and they still standing up trying to come together and preparing to fight the same people that conquered them. Now, Putin crushed them Nazis in the 40s. In 1948, 45, he crushed the hell out of them Nazis that was trying to run up into their land. And now Ukraine is filled with Nazis. God. For them to openly have the Nazi flag, it ain't even against the law. And let me tell you something else. They slick about it. The president is so-called Jewish, and that's what they would do to make themselves not look like they're Nazis. We'll get a Jewish man and put him in as the mayor, and he's an actor. He ain't even a real leader. He's like an actor. That you know what I mean? He like what Ronald Reagan was, like Donald Trump. Like, I mean, some entertainer that they go and put in the office like a fool and say, "See, we're not racist," but meanwhile you carrying the Nazi flag. Like the truth, boy, is something. You know what I mean? And our people gonna cry and bleed for them, but the Mexican babies ain't gonna get no love. Go ahead, where we going?
Okay. President Joe Biden announces a new wave of sanctions targeting Russian banks on Thursday. Over 100 people were killed with hundreds more injured after Russia invaded Ukraine on Thursday, raining down bombs on key cities and taking control of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant.
And the way he's hitting that country now, brother, he's going to take over the whole country. I mean, it's been a week and he got a third of the country already. So if he keep going the way he's going to have the whole country. And them white supremacists on Fox News, I can't believe them. Donald Trump said what he did was genius. Donald Trump is a straight up Nazi. He said what he did is genius. Okay? Like he definitely, like them on Fox News, they all seem like they white supremacists. Mm-hmm. Every last one of them seem like they don't give a damn that their own country's interest is being challenged by Putin. They could care less about that. White supremacy all day, every day in their mind. It's evil as hell.
And that show you what the real America is. You know what I'm saying? Their problem is America and turned into something that it wasn't in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? These Democrats that made America all sweet and tender, and now niggas and spicks is taking over, you know?
And they hate it.
Come. We want to go back to the real America, the real patriots, where we can lynch and kill and do what we want. You know what I'm saying?
Like they want it like Ukraine. They want it like, you know what I mean? Where blacks ain't got a word to say about nothing. Latinos or nobody, they want to beat them into the ground. And something Captain I.S.U.P.K said that was heavy. Captain I.S.U.P.K said, remember, this is a man that don't have no home. This is a caveman. Right. They got no home. Right. So he will go and kill to own whatever land he can get in his hand. Mm-hmm. Because he ain't never had no home. He's a caveman. That was real heavy. With big shout out to Captain I.S.U.P.K. You know, man. Damn right. You know, man. So is that it on that? What else you holding over there? I buy.
Okay. You want to touch the Black History story, sir?
Whatever you want. Whatever you like. We can go to it. How much time we got?
If I may, sir, we have about 16 minutes.
16 minutes? Yeah, whichever one you want to hear. In the meantime, let me tell everybody out there, man, join us in Cocoa Beach, Florida, April 14, 15, and 16. And do up this Passover. Get it in right. Also want to tell everybody, support this truth, pay your tithes, support this truth, and prepare yourself for these days that's coming, man. Lay up your folly ground, like the scriptures say, and let's come together, man. Also, I think it's April 2nd, but check the times. Big shout out to Captain Tazaryak, about to get into his big debate, Alhambra Ballroom in Harlem. They'll be throwing it down. Him and the ex-head of the new Black Panther Party discussing the way forward for black people. Also, too, man, big shout out to Officer Tazaryak and their lecture this past weekend. I heard it was rocking like hell. A lot of brothers and sisters came out and supported it. And big shout out to y'all for doing that. And I heard it was a big success. So big shout out to him and his whole team out there in Delaware doing an amazing job in the work of the Most High. Did I miss anything?
I think that's everything, sir.
Yeah, that's everything for this week. Big shout out to Captain Mauer Quad in Chicago and their new school. They hooking that up right now. Also, big shout out to Captain Kahan Thamyard and the brothers out in Mississippi. Their new school coming online. Good stuff in the works, you know what I'm saying? So let's keep on swinging. All right. What else?
What's really lost when schools only make Black History Month lessons optional?
Go ahead.
These policies are an attempt to further erase Black people from society, which damages the psyches of all children.
Of what?
of all children.
Right. So if you eliminate black people from society, you mess up the psyche of all children. Like, I got news for you. You can never mix with these people. Right. Like, we've been trying to do this since the 60s, man. Okay. And now, did you hear about that huge list of books they banned? Man, they banning hundreds of books from schools down there. So much so that Random House, y'all heard of Random House before? Random House is one of the biggest publishers in the world. Okay? Random House and a couple of other big publishing houses is mad as hell. They coming together, putting together funds to go and fight against these groups that's getting rid of all these black books. I mean, some of them ain't even black books. Any books talking about sexual orientation, any books about black people suffering, any books like that, they ban in hundreds of books they're getting ready to ban in the United States to make sure the next generation doesn't get their hands on those books. Once again, it's so backwards. You're trying to teach a real animal how to be a human being. Like, you are doing some real backwards mess is what you're doing. Go ahead.
As we come to the end of Black History Month, we should remember that the war on Black history has reached new heights in America. At the start of the month...
Like, let me stop you right there for a second. Like, what war on Black History Month? They gave you Black History Month. So why do you think it's a war on it? You should have been celebrating Black History Month for black people. Like, when are you going to learn the lesson, Christians? When are you going to learn the lesson that you got to stop trying to convince white people to love you? You must serve the Most High. You think you went forward in society. You've gone backwards in society. You think you've gone forward. The Lord did more with the coronavirus than you did in 50 years in Black America. Damn right, sir. In Latino America, in Native Indian America. In 50 years, the Most High did more with the coronavirus than you ever could. George Floyd did more for the movement of black people and for the world to see black people. George Floyd did more than anybody else in America since 1964. Okay. And I ain't too sure even before then. Okay, so you going backwards with what you trying to do.
Right.
You going backwards instead of waking our people up. Like, why aren't you concerned that our children know all these things?
Right.
God.
Why aren't you concerned that their self-esteem has been risen up to new heights because they've been re-educated on so much of their history that's been stolen from them? Instead, you trying to cramp all our history in one 30-minute situation and hoping that in that 30-minute situation, 30-day situation, we're gonna convince white people to love us. Matter of fact, read the next line. I'm gonna pass it to y'all. Keep reading the next line on that about, because I don't think that's important.
Okay. At the start of the month, a Montessori school in North Ogden, Utah, sent a letter to parents allowing them to opt out of having their children participate in Black history lessons.
Go ahead.
The school later backtracked on the plan after receiving backlash.
Go ahead.
Then came news that a counselor in Brown County, India, has sent a memo to parents with a similar message.
Well, stop right there. I thought it's probably further down in the article. So in other words, these white counties is starting to let their parent going to parents and saying, listen, your kid don't have to study no Black history during Black History Month. They can opt out of all of those events and all that stuff we got them participating in. And brother, they ain't wrong for that.
Right.
Your kid should be in it. What you should be opting out is them Christmas celebrations.
That's right.
Them Thanksgiving celebrations, them Halloween celebrations. Let them opt out of Black History Month, and you opt out of worshiping Satan every week.
Right.
Go ahead, Cat.
If I can, Cat, just off what the general said earlier, like you Christians, man, and when I say Christian, I mean anybody that's not in the I.S.U.P.K.
Damn right.
You Christians are brainwashed, right? And when I look at you, I'm sad for you because you are so hurt when you realize white people don't love you.
Right.
Like, it breaks your little Christian hearts. You understand? Like, they gave us 1 month. 1 month. It made you think that during that 1 month, this is the month that we love you, Black people. This is the month that we love you. And you took it and said, okay, yeah, at least they're going to love us for a month. And now that you're hearing they may get rid of it, it's like, oh my God, they're going to go back to never loving us. And it's tearing you apart. But I got news for you. They never loved you during that month either.
Right.
They never loved you during Black History Month, ever. You understand? So nothing is changing. You understand, whether we have it or not. And most of your heroes during Black History Month that they give you are Black sellouts. Right. Most of them. Most of them are the Black people who sold other Black people out and joined white people and made them look good and great. And now white people made them famous. You understand? And those are the ones that they push on us in our schools and say it's okay to teach about him. Because he made Jackie Robinson, for instance, people like him who left Black leagues or Black businesses or Black things, joined with white people and made their corporations or leagues or businesses great. Black, they'll put him up. But they still, that don't mean they love you. That don't mean they love Black people. They didn't even love Jackie Robinson. You reread the history about him, he went through hell. You know what I'm saying? He went through hell trying to impress these people, man. And in the end, they still didn't love him. You understand? So you got to, if you can get that in your heart and your chest and be okay after that, you're doing good. If you can realize they will never, ever love us. They have never loved us. It's biblical. General read it earlier. We've been fighting since the book of Genesis. We've been struggling against them since the book of Genesis. The Lord said, who can make straight that which he made crooked? Once we get that in us and accept it, then you can love your brother the way you should. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We can come together like we should. Slocky cat.
If I could say, correct me if I'm wrong, General, you know what I'm saying? This seems like it's about money. Like all this really would affect is our hypocritical Black leadership. You understand what I'm saying? Because in this society in America, this younger generation of Black people, like they are trying to survive. Like they've been seeing they countlessly getting murdered by police. You understand? So it seems like this is affecting Black leadership. You understand what I'm saying? Because we not celebrating Black History Month like we celebrating Christmas, like you saying, or celebrating New Year's or any other so-called white man's holidays, to where it's almost the same effect that it's having on the Christian church, meaning they ain't learning about our, sellouts and our Uncle Toms, which is going to make our Black politicians look bad. You understand? We ain't going to be learning about the first Black man that did this and the first Black man that did that and the first Black man, because who cares when you in the school and the white teachers calling you a nigga in front of the class? Or who cares when you can't even walk in your neighborhood because, the police is murdering you? So who cares about the first Black man in creating peanut butter or the light bulb? Because it's not important, because the police is murdering everybody. So this really only affects rich sellout Black men, and that's the only one who cares about it, because the rest of us are trying to survive. Salaki.
Is that it on that? All right. What else you holding?
It was horrible to watch. Snapchat helps prove innocence of Illinois teen jailed on charges he confessed to after being robbed with McDonald's.
Yikes. Go ahead.
And an Illinois high school freshman in suburban Chicago claims that police offered him food from a fast food restaurant in exchange for a confession to a crime he did not do. Despite being wrongfully incarcerated for 2 nights in a jail cell, the boy's social media and basketball schedule were used as evidence that he did not commit the felony. Officers arrested Martell Williams during class at Waukegan High School after he was allegedly identified by multiple people as the robber that shot a dollar store clerk in the face on the 2600 block of Grand Avenue on February 4th. A week before his arrest, the Waukegan Police Department had released images of the suspect, pulled from a surveillance camera, and asked for members of the community to help officers bring him in. Believing he was the shooter, detectives apprehended Williams at school and brought him into custody. I was in school in freshman seminar class, and the dean came down and got me and walked me to the office, the 15-year-old said. And once I reached the office, there were just 2 police officers there. As soon as I got in, they didn't tell me nothing or say anything. They just said I was under arrest. Once the officers had him in custody, they began exhorting the young man to admit to the crimes and told him he could have a meal from McDonald's and go home if he confessed to the shooting. So Williams said he confessed. Shanika Williams, the team's mother, said when she went to the police station, they would not let her see her child. And like that, he was charged with the crime. The teen was locked away for 2 nights in the Robert W. Juvenile Complex Center in Vernon Hills before his community was able to learn the charges and provide evidence of his innocence to the department. Friends and family were able to prove that he could not have been at the scene of the shooting. The family now has an attorney, Kevin O'Connell, and had asked for the public apology for their lazy police work.
So in other words, the community said, yeah, it looked like so-and-so. They went and locked him up. Oh, he's a kid now. Offered him McDonald's and he could go home. And of course, he admits to it. And then they locked him up. And like you brought out, General, go ahead.
Yeah, the same thing. This is 2022. This happened, right? This little kid. Not saying he looked young as hell. You know what I'm saying? Young brother. You understand? And they did the same thing. The same thing they did to this brother in 2022. They did to that Central Park 5. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They did the same thing. Lied to them, first interrogate the hell of them like they was grown men, threatening them, they babies, like this guy, threatening them. And then after hours and hours of interrogation, said, look, I know you tired. Just say you did it. Just sign here, right? This doesn't mean, this just means that, you know, we did our job, but you're going to go home. We're going to let you go home and see your mom. Don't you go home see your aunt? And lied to these black kids, told them to sign this confession, make this confession, you know, fed them, you know what I'm saying? Like they did this one, give them McDonald's and tell them you'll go home. And all the young kid want to do is go home after these devils in his face for hours, man, in some dark room, asking him a bunch of questions. He want to go home. He'd do anything to go home. So they lie and say, just admit it, say this, say that, and we will let you go home. Look, I'm going to turn this recorder off. Look, it's off now. Let me tell you something. I'm going to turn it back on. All you got to do is admit and say you did this. Nothing's going to happen. You're a juvenile. You're this, you're that. Just say you did it when I turn the recorder back on. Let me get it on film. Sign this paper. We're going to get you a bunch of McDonald's, your favorite food, and you get to go home. And the kid do it because he want to go home. He tired of this. He afraid. He's alone in most cases, you know what I'm saying? And they end up locking him up, you know what I'm saying, and ruin his life damn near. Ruin their life off of this mess. In 2022.
No, you want it. You know, I was going to just say it's probably so many black people in jail, Latino people in jail over this same thing. Over this same thing. How I know? They locked me up for the exact same thing. I was completely innocent. Right. And they locked me up for, I'm standing right next to a guy that had some stolen car. They take me to, both of them had the stolen car. I just came up to ask them about mechanic work. They locked me up too. I'm like, what the hell y'all locking me up for? You know what I mean? Well, we don't know because, you know, you was standing right there. So we don't know what was what. I'm like, but, you know, I ain't had nothing to do with it. And tried to give me a record and everything behind that joint, which is insane. You know what I mean?
If I may say.
And the last point, Salaki. And once again, their solution to crime is terrorize the whole community. That's always their solution. And the minute we start realizing that, we'll start changing the situation. And once again, it's so dumb for us to commit crimes anyway. Like committing crime is like ridiculous because you're destroying us when we could do so much more for us. Like all that energy you putting in the crime could be used for so much that could give you more than what you was getting from the crime.
Right.
Cut it one cut.
Ain't nobody getting no real money out here from crime. You barely still getting drug money. Barely. And that's costing you your life every damn weekend. So it ain't really no money out here that we could really, really move this earth in the right direction, man, if we came together in this brotherhood. Salaki, go ahead.
Salaki,
that was a heavy point, you know.
The water said, and it's insane also, too, because imagine, you know, those years before it was cell phones and cameras and all of that. Like these devils could have done anything to us, man, and when was doing it. You know what I'm saying? So you see the history and the facts what they did with the 5 brothers up there in New York and this brother here. Like this brother here is truly the Lord was with him, because anything could have happened. They couldn't have found his mother. Like the facts show he could have died in jail. They could have beat him to death. You know what I'm saying? And lied on him and died in jail. Like the brother, I always forget his name. The brother that was in Rikers for not doing nothing. I forget his name, and died and killed himself after that. I forget that brother's name, Salakia, but was up in there in Rikers. You know what I'm saying? Like this young brother, you know, the Lord was with him. So it's like things like this show you like, who cares about Black History Month? Like, how is Black History Month even important when brothers like this, like your life is worth a McDouble, a McDouble and a dollar fry and
Big Mac will put you in jail for life.
And that's it. You understand? Like Frederick Douglass is not that important compared to this. Salakia.
Damn right.
Yeah, Khalif Browder, that's his name.
That's right.
Poor brother, man, went in there, was in Rikers, in solitary confinement, ain't do anything. You understand? And we care about, you know, Black History Month, and you know, it's just ridiculous.
And more care about teaching it to them instead of, you know, just teaching it to us. Like we should be accepted or not. You know what I'm saying? We should be helping us wake up and teach us, whether they accept it or not. Who gives a damn whether they accept it or not? We should do it for us. That's right. And in doing it for us, the Lord will raise us up. But of course, you don't have no faith. That's why you don't know how to wield the sword of righteousness, because you don't have the faith to do it, because you've been in church learning so much carnality. But you're going to have to fight to get away from that so that you can begin to become spiritual, man. The scriptures say to be carnally minded is death. And that's what has happened to us in this place. We carnally minded, and it's bringing death on us every day. When we become spiritually minded, brother, we're gonna bring life forth in this earth in the right way. Scripture said that the Lord is not the God of the dead, but the God of the living. You know what I'm saying? That's the God we serve.
That's right.
You know, man. So with that, I will see y'all next time live on the UPK, y'all. For water for joining us. Shalom.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you.
That's right. It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord.
Y'all see this?
Comes with all your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel room. You know what I mean? Yeah.
This here right here about to be holy ground. It's gonna be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud, straight up out the base.